The question is, can Cameron Dicker play offensive line?
The question is fried up, messed up, is scrambled eggs really fried chicken?
The real question is, if I carve a female face into a pumpkin, is it a Jill-O-Lantern?
Hold up. It's the Chargers Squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Well, there's Jim. Okay, hold on. Now we're all here. All right, welcome to the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Pete Fox, covering sports in LA since 2007, ESPN and NBC Sports Radio, where I worked with Jim Daniels, who's been covering sports in LA since the early 2000s, and Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league. I almost said 9 rings. That would
I take it.
That'd be pretty good. 9 out of 10.
I take it. I take it.
3 is nothing to shake a stick at, but 9, that's a whole different league.
Different ball game.
Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Today on the show, we're going to look back a little bit on Sunday's win over the Dolphins, dig into a little deeper on that one and see what we can find that was positive that we can take from that one to the next one back in LA at SoFi as they take on the Colts. And we'll talk about the Colts and see what is on the gamut for us moving forward and whether or not the Chargers can stop Jonathan Taylor. KB, when I look at this Colts team, I say, okay, they're 5-1. Jonathan Taylor, the leading rusher in the league with 603. 5.2 per
5.2.
That's big. That's a lot. 19 total touches and on average. So he gets the ball a lot. Chargers have had a tough time stopping the run, especially when they get to the outside. His high was against Denver. Good defense. So that's a nice day.
Really good defense.
65. His low against a pretty bad Vegas team in 66 yards. Here's the positive I look at because I look at this just, if you were to ask me at the water cooler, what do you think of this Charger Colts matchup? I would say the Chargers don't have a chance. That's what I would say. But I look at this Colts schedule and I go, all right, let's see. They beat the Dolphins. Big deal. They beat the Broncos. That was a tight one, 29-28. They beat the Titans, one of the worst teams in the league. They lost
Cardinals.
to the Rams in LA, and they beat the Raiders and Cardinals, and the Cardinals 31-27 on Sunday. So I look at that and go, that's not the toughest row to hoe right there. So I think
it's a trend.
Yeah. I said they've lost in LA. And they have not beaten a ton of heavy hitters. So when you think of the Colts, what do you think is going to happen? Or what do you think the Chargers need to do to make this close and have a shot at winning?
I think it's the elephant in the room. You got to start with the run game. What I think about this matchup, I do think the Colts have had a particularly easy schedule up to this point outside of Denver. What I do believe that the Colts do well that is an Achilles heel to the Chargers is run the ball. Like I said, Jonathan Taylor is everything to everyone on this roster. He wears several hats. He can run, he can pass, he can catch, he can block. He does it all for this team. And where the Chargers have struggled and what has given us as fans nightmares is the fact that we can't stop the run. We can't stop the outside run. We're not great at stopping the inside run, and we're facing a back that is capable at doing both. He does it at an extremely high clip. This game comes down to me to 2 guys, right? Jonathan Taylor, us being able to contain and maintain him and not allow him to get busy like he does. And it comes down to Derwin James. Too much is given, much is expected. And not that he hasn't earned what he has, but now I really need that in this game because there's 2 things that I need you to do. I need you to be able to get down in the box and play the run, what you're great at, but not only that, and must have pass downs. I need you to cover Tyler Warren. I don't trust anybody else to cover Tyler Warren. He's Daniel Jones's leading target reception getter. So this game, it should be a good game. I don't think this game will get out of hand, but the Chargers have to be able to stop the run and stay on the field on 3rd down.
What's your message to the team, Jim?
Do something to stop the run on the defensive right side, because that's where they keep getting gashed. And I mean, for like gigantic chunk plays that are happening off that defensive right side over and over. And it doesn't matter who it is week after week. There's just got to be some, because Jonathan Taylor, he comes in. I mean, this is going to be the most difficult back to contain so far.
Absolutely.
And we're getting gashed by guys that aren't near as talented or near as versatile. He's the key. I don't think it's Daniel Jones is having a great resurgent season.
Great year. Yeah.
A great year, but it's not about him, in my opinion. It's about their running back being elite once again. He looks healthy. He looks confident when he runs the ball. I mean, you kind of hold your breath a little bit every time he gets it, especially when they get that little stutter step. You know what I'm talking about, KB, when they get that little stutter step about 3 or 4 steps into that run, and they can kind of see the hole. And they want to go a little bit, man, they're right past you. He's running with that kind of vision and confidence, and I'm really concerned about him this weekend.
Look, you said something about Daniel Jones right now. I wrote this down, and as I was going watching his highlights, I said he's definitely having a resurgence, and I think it's the tale of 2 different franchises and being in a position to where you can grow, you can evolve, and you can get better. But when I think about Daniel Jones and what he's done this year, he looks like a completely different quarterback. He reminds me of The Undertaker. I'm a wrestling fan, not WWE. I grew up watching WWF, okay, World Wrestling Federation.
That's right.
And and The Undertaker, when you think he's down and he's out, he just pops up on you. And that's what I feel like Daniel Jones has done this season. It was like everybody thought he was done. He was finished. He wasn't good. And you look at him in this Colts scheme and in this offense with talented guys, and this is what you're getting. So shout out to Daniel Jones for kind of making everybody else a liar these days.
Yeah, he's the 7th rated quarterback this year thus far in the league. Only 3 interceptions.
Only 3.
The Chargers have really used interceptions as a big part of their defense. It was a big part of the reason they won against the Colts, because they couldn't score in the red zone. And their top receiver, as you mentioned, Tyler Warren, he's 19th in the league, 61 yards per game, 2 touchdowns though. I was surprised by that low number. And Michael Pittman is 42nd in the league, 48 yards a game, 2 touchdowns for him as well. So here's what I look at: if the Chargers can figure out a way to at least slow down Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman are good, but they're not guys that can win a game kind of single-handedly. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for them if they can figure out a way to bottle him up a little bit. Now, when you look at the Chargers defense, 21st in the league against the run, averaging 124 per game, and Jonathan Taylor can take care of that himself. The other good news for the Chargers is beyond Taylor, there's nothing else there. It's Daniel Jones. So they don't have another guy. So it's all about him. And sometimes when you look at there's one guy, and we've all circled it. This is the guy we got to stop. And then if they just at least slow him down, it can be challenging for the Colts offense to find any other, we don't know what else to do, right? As we said, they haven't played any really heavy hitters, and the one they did was the Rams, and they lost. So maybe there's a bugaboo in LA for this team. They just don't like playing in LA for whatever reason. Sometimes there are cities, right, KB? Like you went to Miami, right? Maybe have a little too fun there in South Beach.
Too much fun out there
for the games. Maybe that's what happens in LA. I don't know. But I think it's going to be tough. But there is an answer. I like it.
Yeah, you know what, and KB, and I think what the answer is defensive. What do I want? What's the word that I want to use? Defensive integrity, which means, people got to stay home. They got to fill their lanes. They got to do their jobs. We can't have people out of position we saw, like Darren Waller. Let me use that as an out of position play. What the hell? How does a guy that big, a tight end, get that wide open in the entire quarter of the end zone? How does that happen? He can't have that happen, because that's going to give Daniel Jones safety valve. You're going to jam up the running game and then leave a hole open like that to bail him out. Can't do that. Defense got to be super tight this week.
We talked about that after the game. Crossing routes. That's what they ran in that goal line spot. They ran a crossing route and got, I believe it was Elijah Molden. I can't remember for sure, but I believe it was him. He got picked off, ended up going the wrong direction. He ended up wide open. But to your point, when it comes to stopping the run, it's all about being gap sound. every guy needs to be responsible for their gap. Everybody needs to be where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. You can't have a guy showing up to the party too late, because that's extra yardage that now the back has to work with. So you're absolutely correct in saying that everybody needs to be sound in their gaps and on time.
Yeah, you've talked about this a lot, KB, and Joey brings it up. It's a good point here. We have to force the Colts to play one-dimensional, and that goes by stopping the run. If not, they lose the game. So, when you're not multi-dimensional, when you're not playing a balanced attack, it can really hurt you, right? You have to disguise the run sometimes by play action or screen passes or those short dumps over the middle. And if those aren't working and they have to rely on the run, and the Chargers have keyed in on that, it could work out to their benefit. I do not think the Chargers will run away and win this game comfortably. If they do, it'll be tight. A big question, though, that it hangs out there is health. Yeah. Will Perriman be back? Will Mack return? Will Joe Alt be there on the offensive line? These are all, look, it seems like it's a thing that we talk about every single year, and it's an excuse Charger fans use. And I always feel like, look, it's unfair to use everything, every excuse that we have focused on injuries, but it's a fact. You can't. It's just there, and it's a part of what happens to this team every freaking year, and it's happening again this year. So they get some health and a solid scheme. There is a chance for them to win this game without a doubt. We'll take the first break, come back, and get a little bit into what happened last week and what we think we can take from that and magnify and exploit this week against the Colts defense. I'm Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, Jim Daniels. It's the Locked On Chargers midweek squad show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Built. That's BILT. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards that you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. Now, this is a real deal. I became a points nerd at the start of this year when it came to getting free airlines or discounted airlines, free hotels, etc. And Built is way up there on points nerds lists. If you pay rent, get yourself a Built card, because as I just said, it earns you points that you can use for real things. It's no joke, and it is very valuable. So why not get something for free that you're going to have to pay for anyway? Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnfl, joinbilt.com/lockedonnfl. Make sure to use that link so they know that we sent you. All right, it's Locked On Chargers Squad Show. Pete Fox, Kenyon Barner, and Jim Daniels. Chargers coming off a 29-27 win over the Dolphins. 403 yards. That's nothing too shabby. They turned over the Dolphins 3 times. They only had 1 turnover themselves. That was a fumble there. And the first downs, 20-19. The penalties, 7 of 45 for the Chargers. And as we joked after the show, Jim, that was better than the week before. It's not great, but it was getting better. So that's another thing that they absolutely have to clean up. But for me, the biggest thing that has to improve this week is red zone productivity. You can't be 2-7 in the red zone and rely on Dicker all the time. I mean, great to have him. I mean, he's reliable. There's no doubt. But you got to score more touchdowns. Now, is that, Jim, as you watch that game, is that more about scheme or, what's going on? Are they not aggressive enough? What's going on in the red zone with this team right now, in your opinion?
I got 2 words for you. Dan Campbell, attitude. I think you got to have a little bit more attitude and confidence in the red zone and maybe take I don't know if it's taking chances or just trying to be more assertive with the plays that you call. But yeah, that's one of my key things in my notes this week is that, you've got to be more efficient in the red zone. You've got to be able, if it means take more of a chance on 4th down, then take the chance on 4th down. You're going to leave them the ball inside the 10, especially if you're inside the 5 or the 10 or something like that, make them go the whole length of the field. Yeah, I think they've got to do that. But, the fact that they're settling too much. I think you want to settle with Dicker when he's doing his job, which is kicking it from beyond the 30-yard line. This is where you want him. We'll take it. Okay, well, 4th and 11, we're not going to be able to get it in here. There are some times when it dictates that you have to kick the field goal, but they're doing that, I think, settling too often, and you got to quit settling.
Listen, when you're facing a team that's allowing points over 50% of the time in the Colts, they're handing out points in the red zone like families on Halloween night. You got to attack the red zone, and you have to be efficient. We talked about this at the end of the game, Pete, about how inefficient we are in that area, and that's the money zone. That's where you got to get the ball. The field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. And if the team is scoring touchdowns and you're scoring field goals, the points don't even up. It don't match up. The math don't math. And so this is an area of the field where we have to maximize, especially against this team who is allowing so many points in the red zone. So if it's not this week, what week will it be that the Chargers get on track in the red zone? This has to be the week versus a team that's pretty giving. They're pretty nice. They're kind in the red zone. And that's just what this Charger offense needs.
Yeah, I agree with both of those opinions, that I think they need to be a little bit more aggressive. And one way I think they can do that is get the ball to LADD MCCONKEY more. Now, he had 7 catches for 100 yards. That's a nice day. Very nice day with a touchdown. Nice. But is it crazy to think, KB, that you could get him the ball more? Make him like a Jerry Rice. Like, we're just going to give you the ball like half the time. Find him more frequently. Is that a ridiculous thought to have?
Absolutely not. It's not. We've seen this all last season where he was the guy, right? We've seen what LADD is capable of. We've seen what LADD can do. We've seen how explosive Mighty Mouse is. This is probably the smallest dude on the field, but probably has the biggest heart on the field. So we have to figure out a way to get him the ball more so he can do those LADD MCCONKEY things. We've seen it at the end of the game that set up the game-winning field goal. We've seen him make a guy miss, be quick twitch, and get upfield for a huge gain and put the team in position. We've seen it throughout this season. So yes, it's not a crazy question to ask. It's not something to blow our minds at this question. No, it's something that we need to do. LADD is proven. He's proven what he is with the ball in his hands. And if a game where you don't have Quentin Johnson, LADD has to be your guy. I love Keenan Allen. I love what he brings to the table, but LADD has to be your guy.
Yeah, Jim, how big a factor is having Quentin Johnston on the field this week? I think it's huge. If he's not out there, then I think that is as KB just said, you got to rely on MCCONKEY more, because the second leading passer or receiver this week was Oronde Gadsden, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I
thought we had plenty of tight ends. I don't know what the tight. Can we go get another offensive lineman? Really, another tight end? That's okay. Then started using him right away, and then he fumbled right away. So I don't know what I think about that.
But he shook back. He shook back after that fumble, though. He shook back and had a hell of a game after that fumble.
Yeah, he did. To his credit, he did focus after that and say, okay, this is going to get me back in the unemployment line if I come here and do this. But no, what I want to talk about, I can't believe you've gone this far without talking about Kamani Vidal. Did we just play a really, really, really bad run defense team, or did he look that good, or is it a combination of both?
They're the worst in the league against the run. Yeah, without a doubt. That was my next question for both of you guys. Kenyon, we talked a lot about this season thus far, that they are just not running the ball enough, in our opinion, especially when they were healthy, right? Before everyone got hurt in the backfield, and Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins became the guys. Omarion Hampton, we didn't think they were giving him the ball enough. When you look at this matchup against the Colts, is it a game that should be evenly balanced, or should they go back to what they did in the early part of the season, throwing the ball more, like they did when they beat the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Raiders?
So here's the thing. This is not the New York Giants run defense. This is not the Miami Dolphins run defense. This is a run defense that their front four are their guys. whether it be DeForest Buckner, whether it be I hope I say his name correctly. Is it you something? I can't call his name correctly.
Close enough.
Quiddy Pay and Tyquan Lewis. These are guys that can actually play the game and that are really good. Not saying that any other guy in the NFL isn't, but when you look at their strength, this is one of them. And so in this game, based on what I've seen from the Colts, there's an advantage that we have with matchups. There's an advantage if we can isolate their safeties and their backers in one-on-one coverage. I think we can maximize that. I would love to see us run the ball more. I would love to see Kamani Vidal come out and do the same exact thing. And again, I said this after the game last week. It's one thing when a team doesn't have anything to prepare for, right? When you come into a game and they have no tape, they have no film on you of what you've done in regular season. Everybody has preseason film, but it's preseason. What do you do now that team have had a week to prepare for you? Because now after rushing for over 100 yards, like I said last week, your jersey is going to be on some scout team's player. It's going to be on his back. They're going to be simulating who you are and what you are. They're going to be simulating your movements and how your style of running. They're simulating all that. So now this defense is prepped for that. So with that being said, we have to run the ball, right? You have to have a balanced attack, but I do believe we have the advantage in the pass game because their secondary nor their linebackers are great at covering outside of Zaire.
Yeah, the Colts defense, Jim, is 12th against the run, averaging 96 allowed, and 22nd against the pass. So they're a little bit, less stout against the pass, leading me to think that they should rely on the pass game a little bit more, especially if Quentin Johnston is healthy and back out there.
Absolutely.
If the line can give him a little bit of time like they did in the second half, I think that's a good game plan to like a little bit, 2/3, 1/3, maybe. I that's just would be my game plan to look at this. It's funny. People are still like, KB, we didn't get into this too much after the win over the Dolphins, but people are all over Bradley Bozeman. Is Bozeman dating the owner's daughter? Please call the Browns for their center. Grab Antonio too. I mean, I didn't think Bozeman was that bad. Is Bozeman that bad, Jim? I don't know.
I don't know if that bad or not.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
So, yeah, the line's a problem across the board. But the thing that we saw against the Dolphins that we all liked, Jim, was the what they call 12 and 13 personnel, which is 2 and 3 tights. Mm-hmm. And that gives Harbaugh, that gives Herbie some time. And if that's what you got to do because your line is so banged up, then let's do it.
And, if that's what the deal is with Oronde Gadsden, then absolutely fine. And it worked out against a really inferior opponent. I mean, the Miami Dolphins are a really bad football team on pretty much every aspect of the game. And that's not the case with the Colts. Obviously, we know that. Nobody's going to be surprised by, certainly none of the Chargers going to be surprised by the level of play changing. But, the fact that Herbert is so mobile, he's not necessarily taken off running. I don't see panic running, but he's moving the pocket a little bit. And that shifts the defense. And that, I think, has opened up holes for him, passing lanes for him that I've really never seen him do before. I don't know if this is a new wrinkle or something that they're trying to get him to do more, because I believe I'm seeing him do it more than I ever have. And man, it is working, like a charm, because it's opening up passing lanes to where he's got guys that are wide open, guys that aren't even within a step or two of him. And I think you're going to absolutely have to do this, especially a team that is tougher against the run like that, but wants to kind of tempt you into throwing. Hey, we'll take the bait. Let's throw. Let's go.
Pete, you talked about the time that Herbie had in that third quarter and going into the fourth. We talked about it. That was attributed to the tempo that the Chargers decided to start moving the ball, right? Yeah. Moving a lot faster, tiring the defensive line out. That's something that we have to implement that in the game plan this week, because we have the injuries that we have. We got to tire those guys out. We got to go tempo. We got to go no huddle in order for our offensive line to be able to sustain late in the game. If the defense is able to just pin their ears back, rest and recover, that's where we run into issues, right? So we have to implement tempo. We have to, again, I want to go back to Gaston. I think he has another big week because this is not a great coverage team. So in that 13 personnel, he has to be the receiver that's running the routes where Herbie may throw the ball. But tempo will be huge in this game. It really will be.
And to your point, Pete, that's more of McConkey. I mean, that's what we want to see. We want to see him get the ball more anyway, and this game plan begs for it.
Yeah, they did that early in the game too. Just quick passes, and Tua was doing it against them. So it's clearly a solid tactic, especially when your offensive line is banged up. You brought this up, Kenyon, after the game, that a big part of what went into that win was the backs blocking. Was that more Haskins or more Vidal, or did they both have a nice day doing that?
No. So what I said was the offensive. A lot of the pressures that we seen on Herbie wasn't all on the offensive line. It was due to the backs not being in position to make those blocks.
Oh, they have to be better.
Yeah, they have to be better. It was Kamani Vidal I seen twice, whether miscommunication, whatever it was, based on me playing the game the years that I've played and kind of understanding line slides, and it looked like Kamani Vidal was lost a couple of times. You can't have that, right? Because as I said last week, a free runner to a quarterback leads to a few things, all tragic. It leads to an injury, leads to a sack or a strip sack, or it leads to a tip ball and interception, right? So we can't have the free runners because, again, Herbie needs to be healthy. Without Herbert, this team is not nowhere near what it would be, what it could be, or what we think it should be. So, the backs definitely have to level up in protection, because here's the thing about the NFL. Once it's on film, everybody sees it. And once they see it, everybody's going to take notice and start doing it's a copycat league. Okay. Oh, this back is not good in protection. So now we're gonna dial up blitzes to attack the back, to see if his eyes are in the right place, to see if he's keying his keys. So the backs have to be better come this week.
Yeah, one of the things that to me seems like when your offensive line is banged up and not good like they are right now, it's kind of got to be all hands on deck. Like everybody needs to be out there blocking. Like that's why I love the 2 and 3 tights. That's why I love the backs, blocking, picking up that blitzer. It has to be that way. And when you've got 2 and 3 good receivers, you only need one, right? So let that guy, the problem could be that the defense starts keying on that one receiver. But when you've got a Keenan Allen and a LADD MCCONKEY, and hopefully Quentin Johnston is back, you put one of them into the pattern, and that's all you need. And that to me seems like a solid game plan. Jim, when you look at the way this offensive line is banged up, do you think they had a better day in general? I know it was the Dolphins, but hey, that line has not been good of late. Did you see improvement in the line from their performance in a win over Miami?
Tough to be completely objective because you have to look at who you're talking about on the other side, which is defense. And I don't want to just pile on the Miami Dolphins. That's a professional NFL football team, and they're not playing their best football right now for whatever reason that is. I don't know, head coach, personnel, scheme, whatever. They're having troubles, and so your team's got to take advantage of that. And that's what the Chargers did. They took advantage of an inferior opponent that was reeling, and they got the job done. I mean, what they get the ball by less than a minute in the end of the game, right? The Dolphins, you had that game. You had to hold them for just a few seconds, just a couple of plays, and you get that win, and they couldn't even get that done. So it means they're failing in every aspect of the game. Now shift back to your question, are we doing better? Hell yeah, of course. They look much better against a team like that. So the test this week is going to be against a team that is going to give you more of a challenge in trying to accomplish your mission.
They did not stop Devon A-Chain, who was just having a big game and getting around the edge with ease and untouched. And I literally woke up this morning with that guy's name in my head today. I was like, Devon, why am I saying Devon? I was saying, is it A-Chain, 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 A-Chain? Like that dude was haunting me all week. Yeah. It's like, couldn't stop him. So you have to assume today, right, at Practice KB, they are, as you pointed out, for the Colts looking at the Chargers, someone's going to have Kamani Vidal's number on. Does somebody have, well, it's probably Jonathan Taylor, but are they looking a lot at what A-Chain did against them and his ability to just kind of have a free run around the edge? Because that's 2 weeks in a row. They have not been able to stop anyone when they get into that outside the tackle box gap there.
Absolutely. Both sides are looking at it. The Chargers are looking at it, and the Colts. The Colts are looking at, okay, this is where we can capitalize. This is where we can. This is the weak link in this defense. Outside runs. It's mind blowing that we are consistently having the same issue week after week. It has to be addressed. It has to be fixed. It's just puzzling to me. And this is the NFL, right? We all get paid to do a job. We all have an assignment. And as a defensive coordinator, you got to figure out, what can I do to put my team in a better spot? What can I do to put my team in a better position, my defense in a better position, to be able to stop what so many guys are eating at? This is out of control, and I hate it. I really do. I hate to see it. I hate it. And especially coming up against a running back like Jonathan Taylor, that is phenomenal, that is exceptional at running the ball, one of the best backs in the league. You're going to have your hands full. So what do we do? What are we going to do? In my opinion, you have to load the box. You have to force Daniel Jones to beat you with his arm. In my opinion, the zebra doesn't change his stripes. You may be able to pretend for a little bit. You may be able to act one way for a little bit. But when everything hits the fan and it gets hard, you sink back to who you were. It's just our nature as humans. It's our nature as people. We sink back to the habits that we know. And we all know Daniel Jones will cough that ball up. He'll give it up if it gets uncomfortable around him. And so I think we have to load the box and force Daniel Jones to beat us with his arm.
Chargers will take on the Colts Saturday at SoFi, coming off a win in Miami against the Dolphins, 29-27. After the break, we'll talk about Kenyon Barner's favorite subject, special teams. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you find Daniel and David Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast, an in-depth look as to what's going on in the Chargers universe. Check them out. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Rougiette. Guys, you probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them a few times, but if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. If you're looking for something special, why do they put it in there twice? I guess they just want me to keep reading it over and over. I'm going to read it just like it's written. Guys, if you're looking for something different, beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. Okay, just in case you missed it. Rougiette Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. The effects can last up to 36 hours. So make sure you are hydrated all day, all night, and even into the next day. And you make sure your partner's up for that too. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rougiette.com, Rugiet, and use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL, 15% off your first order. Rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL. Make sure you use our code so they know we sent you. 36 hours, really? Do we need that?
36 hours is crazy. Take me to the hospital.
I got stuff to do.
Oh my gosh,
that's the whole weekend.
That's a dangerous pill. Boy, that's gonna have you putting in some work.
Honey, what are we doing this weekend? Well,
I got this pill. Okay. Hey, we gonna be in this bedroom all weekend. All weekend. We ain't gonna let this go to waste.
All right, exactly. All right. Chargers need some Rougiette against the Broncos this weekend. 2 or 3 hours of good, hard football. Beat a good team in the Colts and come in with a 5-1 record, tied for the best record in the league. But as we pointed out, they have not faced the toughest of competition, beating the Titans and the Vegas Raiders, and they did beat Denver. They lost to LA, lost to the Rams at SoFi.
How the hell did that happen?
Well, Rams are good.
Any given Sunday, baby. You just got to be the best team on that day.
Yeah, exactly. So the Chargers will. Here's the thing, as we talked about at the start, you get to the red zone, you got to score some touchdowns, but you have Cameron Dicker there to help out. Is it it's a beautiful blessing, but is it potentially causing them to be distracted by those easy points? Because more often than not, he's going to make the field goal. He's going to get you 3. So when you look at that, KB, and they're down there, and rather than be aggressive and go for it, they go, well, let's just take the 3. Let's just take the 3 because he's so good at it. He's so regular. Is it potentially, a distraction, if you will? I don't know how else to describe it because it's so obvious and so easy to just, snatch up what's sitting there for you waiting.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take what's given. And I think analytics play a huge part in today's game. And I hate that, right? I hate the analytic aspect of football. No, bro, let's just go out here and play ball and let's do what we know our team is capable of doing. But when you have a guy like Dicker, the kicker, I'm taking them points all day, especially when you know that we can hold up on defense. We may not have our greatest day, but we won't break. We can hold, we can be firm. And that gives Herbie an opportunity to go down and score points. So I'm not completely mad about it, because if we look at this season, those 3 points have added up and played in our favor. They've helped us in a lot of situations. So obviously touchdowns are better than field goals, but listen, 3 points is better than nothing.
Yeah. Jim, the blessing of having Cameron Dicker on your team, to me, is look, he had 5 field goals. They don't win this game without him, especially late in the game. It's huge. But I feel like at times, as you pointed out earlier, they're not aggressive enough in the red zone. And there are also times when I think that this offense could be a little bit more creative.
Yeah, I'll run with that. Yeah, they could be a little bit more creative. But before we get off the kicking game, though, if I'm the special teams coach, I'm going to have to sit down and have a talk with the field goal kicking unit, because that game-winning field goal could have gone all wrong. It was a bad snap. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but that was a real bad snap on that game-winning field goal. I mean, that thing slips in his finger. I mean, you know how that is. One little tiny thing goes wrong by a quarter of an inch, and that ball doesn't go through, and you lose that football game. They got to tighten up the kicking game. The kicking game is sloppy, and that was another great big, in my opinion, exclamation point of just how sloppy that kicking game is. Dicker bails you out all the time, but you know what? He can't bail you out if you have a bad snap that goes in the mud.
Well, Jim, that's the beautiful part about special teams, right? Especially those specialists. They spend all this time together. They're basically their own subunit of the team. They spend all outside of the team periods where they come in, whether it's punt or punt return or field goal block. Those guys are off to the side on their own field, working on these scenarios, working on these situations. And so when you have something like that pop up, it's one thing to be in that spot and to have never been in that spot, to have never repped it. But once you're in practice and you go over it, now those situations are easier to recover from. And so, yeah, it was terrible. It's not something that you ever want to happen, but it's a good thing that you do rehearse and practice those type things.
Yeah, what I was able to pull it off, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was trying to get to before I gotta figure out this mouse with the back button. By the way, when I hit that button and you guys are talking, no one's hearing it, so you can just wait for me to come back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, we'll just talk to each other.
You guys are gamers, and I appreciate that, but I was like, don't waste good takes on each other when we're not on.
Well, we didn't know that because we was over here rolling.
No, that's what I said. You pick up the ball and run with it. That's awesome. Anyway, but my point was, it feels to me like, does Greg Roman have a page in that playbook where Cameron Dicker can run a fake field goal or something? Like maybe once.
Hell no.
I'm not putting Dicker at risk.
No.
No.
I'm just like, again, the
punter.
The red zone. The red zone opportunities are there. They're just not being punched in. So, let's get a little creative and try something. Let's try a fake field or a fake punt. Okay, we'll go with a fake punt because we don't want to put Dicker at risk of ever getting banged up or anything. So I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like let's get creative. Let's get to the back of the playbook and see what's there and turn things around and just find some new energy, some new life, because what they're doing right now in the red zone isn't working. So. Yeah. They need something else, and that's a big thing. So from a defensive perspective, KB, solid game, not great, but it was solid. Deion Henley, 7 tackles, Troy Dye. I think that one of the biggest surprising stats of the game was Derwin James missed a couple of tackles. Wasn't a huge big deal, but he wasn't Derwin James. I mean, our expectations are so high for him that when he doesn't perform like the normal Derwin James, we're like, what's going on there? But 5 tackles, only 1 solo tackle. Defended.
He probably could have run that last play in for a pick 6. A little bit of effort. He might have run that last play in.
Well, he also had an interception in his hands, went right through it. So
just a great play. Yeah.
Bud Dupree didn't have a great game. Tarheeb still did. The defense, I think, again, the defense for the Chargers ranked against the pass 6th in the league, but 21st against the rush. And that has to do with the injuries and not, having the normal guys out there. So as they are trying to get healthy, like the rest of the team, that's a big thing that will work in their favor once they get back to being healthy. But against the pass, they're 6th in the league. They only allow 177 per game. They allow 124 on the ground per game. And I think that they're going to have to bow their neck and spend most of their time focusing on stopping Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
And hope that, Tarheeb Still and these guys on the outside, Dante Jackson, St. Juice, can do their job to bottle up these receivers and make it focused, make the Colts offense focused on the running game. And I don't think you have to twist the Colts arm to say, yeah, we're going to make you run the ball.
And KB, does that mean more man coverage? Is that what that means? If you're going to load the box and try and stop the run, does that mean more man coverage on the outside?
Definitely more man. Excuse me. You definitely have to commit. We said it earlier. You have to commit more to the box. But not only that, Daniels has 183 passes. Of those 183, 103 have went to the same 4 guys: Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, and Micah Pittman Jr. And so where the ball is going in this offense. So if you take away one thing and make them one-dimensional, you can kind of lock in and know, okay, especially from watching film, there's certain sub packages, there's certain downs and distance. Every quarterback has a tendency of where they want to go and what they want to do. And so with the Chargers and Derwin James and all that, I'm sure they're going to be well prepped and prepared for it. So I expect them to load the box and make this team one-dimensional. You have to. You can't let Jonathan Taylor just run over you. You have to load the box.
Here's a question from Daywalker Blade that I want you both to
answer. I like that.
Can we start to say Minter stinks? I've seen enough.
No, I won't go that far. I will not go that far.
That's just
just a few weeks ago, it was all good. Everybody was raving. Everybody, it was, so let's not do that, because now we're riddled with injuries, whether it be on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball, with guys getting hurt and not having guys in the right places. Let's give this team time to get back and get healthy. Before we start saying people stink, because week 1, 2, and 3, it was all great. It was sunshine in paradise. Let's not turn and run now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a head coach sooner before later, and we've seen a lot of good stuff from him. But it is interesting to think that the love affair isn't quite as Rougiette as we thought. People are a little bit like, what's going on with this defense? Because it seemed like for a while that Jesse Minter could do no wrong, and all of a sudden there's some cracks and some situations where they get exploited a little bit more than we'd like to see.
These big gash plays, these big sweeping runs, and I mean, it almost happens in slow motion to where it, like, if you're watching, it's like, no, because it's like running for the pylon. When you're running that play, I mean, it's just how can it be that slow developing and still we're not able to get anybody over there and at least meet him at the line of scrimmage? I mean, usually it's like a 6 or 7 yard game or worse.
Yeah, they've got a good group of guys. We've talked a lot about Tier Tart, and I would like to see him get back to being that guy that is just on the border of getting a personal foul flag thrown against him, because he plays aggressive like that, and that seems to work well for him. Obunya's the real deal. Tui Peloto's the real deal. So, but those guys are going to have to show up and show out, as the kids like to say, this week against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll take our last break and come back and wrap up with how we think it's going to look and what needs to happen for the Chargers to win this game against the Colts. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show midweek edition on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show also brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. You can use it on the NFL season, which obviously is, baked into wagering. But baseball playoffs are also fun too. We got the basketball season right around the corner, and the NHL is underway. So you do this. You pick a bet, you put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the FanDuel app today. You go to fanduel.com to do that. Of course, you tell them we sent you. It's fanduel.com. Get that app and get going today. All right, Chargers looking for 2 in a row. They snapped a 2-game losing streak with a win over the Dolphins in Miami. Some of the stuff that I liked in that game that I hope they employ as they take on the Colts here this week in LA is the quick passes over the middle, not 2-step, 3-step drops. Find the guys over the middle, primarily LADD MCCONKEY. You stretch the field if Quentin Johnston is back and healthy. Do they have is he still considered questionable? Yes,
probably.
He and Darius Davis both questionable. Matlock was not there. I mean, he's been one of those guys that's been effective for this team quietly, and so he's questionable. Joe Alt still questionable. Jamari Salyer still questionable. So Trey Pipkins also questionable. It's just Tuesday though, so I think most people are questionable on Tuesday.
Everybody's questionable on Tuesday.
So I'd like to see more of the quick passes and a little less balanced attack. KB wants the balanced attack. He thinks that is important in this game plan against the Colts.
You just got to keep them honest. That's my only thing with a balanced attack. But I'm absolutely with you when it comes to the quick game, getting the ball out of Herbert's hand, moving the offensive line, whether it's boots, rollouts, whatever need to be in order to get Herbert moving and away from that rush. I think we need to. You have to run the ball, right? There's no way you go into this game and win this game without trying to run the ball. Because if you don't run the ball, you don't set up the pass game. If you don't pass the ball, you don't set up the run game. So there's a few things that need to happen, in my opinion. We're playing against a team that has a vulnerable secondary. And when you have a vulnerable secondary and their second level defenders, their linebackers and their secondary, we have to maximize and have to capitalize on that. So I would expect to see what we have done well all season long. We need crossing routes. We need to get these guys mixed up and tangled up. We need to put LADD on option routes. We need to put Keenan Allen on options route and allow these guys to work these guys. We need to see Gaston in the pass game as well, just like we did last season, or not last season, but last game, taking advantage of these backers because this is not a great coverage team. This is one of the weaker areas of this team, so we have to attack it.
Jim, the Charger defense, especially on the edges, they create turnovers. They create interceptions. Daniel Jones has only thrown 3. That's tied for 4th in the league. Do you foresee a day where the Chargers are keying on that, trying to intercept Daniel Jones?
Yeah, sure. I think Derwin James has always got that in the back of his head. He's always sitting back there looking for an opportunity, and this is a guy that can do it. Listen, I think this is a game that the Chargers can win. The Colts have been beating up lesser opponents, and this is a roadmap. They're going to have to defend Herbert, who is having a really good year. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. And like you've said, Pete, you got to get McConkey going. I think that it's going to be key to get Keenan Allen going also over the middle, so they're confused as to which one of these guys we've got to try and lock up. Kamani Vidal's got to do his thing, but goal-to-go offense has got to produce touchdowns.
Look, they beat the Arizona Cardinals 31-27. They were down in a good portion of that game. So it wasn't like they ran away, and the Cardinals are just 2-4. It wasn't like they ran away and won that game. It was in Indianapolis, by the way. So I look at this team and I go, yes, Jonathan Taylor is a load. He's the best running back in the league stats wise right now. He's tough to stop, but there are other ways to beat this team if you can just slow him down and make him their only offensive option. And the Chargers have a good defense. So I look at it and say, look, it's definitely doable. And having Tyler Warren, a rookie, as your top receiver, that doesn't bode well for if Jonathan Taylor is hampered in any way, if they slow him down, if they limit the big gash plays or even limit the touches. I don't know if that's possible. But because it just feels like this is what they do. This is their game plan, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it for them. So I feel like it's a game that's going to be close. It's going to be winnable, but the Chargers have to score in the red zone.
Yeah,
and they have to get after the quarterback. That's always a big part of a game. And the third thing for me would be to limit turnovers. Is that too much to ask? Score in the red zone, limit turnovers, and get after the quarterback. That's what I say.
Listen, that's the pregame speech when you come into the building on Tuesday or Wednesday. That every coach is going to listen. Let's win the line of scrimmage, run the ball, stop the run, eliminate turnovers, turn the other team over. Special teams be special. So you're right in the coach's locker room right now. You having coach talk with your team, so it's not too much to ask, and it's exactly what needs to take place. And you talked about limiting Jonathan Taylor. The only way you can limit Jonathan Taylor and force them to change their game plan is to get out and get ahead early, right? Now we're forced to throw the ball and not depend on our run game. So if the Chargers can do that and find a way to do that, now you make the Colts become one-dimensional, and I think that's when this game plays right into your hands.
Jim, when you compare Bam Knight, the Arizona running back, to Kimani Vidal, who gets the edge there? Who's a better running back? Because the Colts limited Bam Knight to just 34 yards. I would assume gonna need more than that from Kimani Vidal.
Yeah, based on what I saw, I'm going to go with Kimani Vidal. Now, again, we've talked about this. It may have a little bit or a lot to do with the opponent that he was putting those numbers up against. But, man, for a 6th-round draft pick, that guy was absolutely tearing it up. And I don't think that they were ready for that. I don't think that, well, the Dolphins probably aren't ready for anybody. But honestly, in the game plan, I don't think they were looking for him to be as explosive as he was. Did anybody else see that? Man, I saw him blow through a couple of those runs that shocked me. It's like, wow, look at the explosiveness. And that's one of the things we talk about with young players, that especially after they have a knee or something like that, they're never the same. That eye-popping explosiveness. Yeah, I'll go with Kimani.
Well, final thoughts, KB. We're going to be, for the rest of this week, I think we should just be looking at the injured list for the Chargers. That will tell us a lot, more than we need to know. Joe Alt, Jamari Salyer, Quentin Johnston, on the defensive side of things, Denzel Perryman, Khalil Mack. There's 4 or 5 guys that if the Chargers get those guys back, it's a completely different ballgame. But ultimately, what do we think? Maybe if we're lucky, half of them.
Joe Alt, again, high ankle sprain. I'm still not expecting him to be back anytime soon. If he is, that would be good.
What about Trey Pipkins? You think he might be out there?
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. I will absolutely take it. I don't yes, get back. Hurry up, please.
Seen Denzel Perryman in a while. So
I want to say since like week 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. And again, when we look at that defense, that's our guy in the middle, right? And so there is going to be a change in performance. So there's certain guys that you need back that kind of round up your team and kind of give that full picture. And Perryman is one of those guys. Pipkins obviously on the offensive line at that right tackle spot. We need him back quick, fast, and in a hurry. So let's just keep our eyes on this injury report all week.
Thoughts and prayers, as they say. Thoughts and prayers. All right. That'll do it for us here. The midweek edition of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show as the Chargers get ready for the 5-1 Colts. By the way, Jim, a 1.5 point favorite are the Colts. I was a little surprised by that number. I thought it would be a little bit higher. So that tells you Vegas is not terribly in their court. On them, so to speak. They think the Chargers can win this game. They're only a 1.5 home underdog. So
that's kind of toss up in Vegasville. 1.5. That's kind of
but look, the Chargers can absolutely
got to have this win. Got to have this. This is winnable. This is a doable thing. These guys have been beaten up on lesser opponents. The Chargers are a good football team. They play good defense. They have eye-popping offense. Got to do our job. Everybody does their job, and this is a W.
This is an absolute winnable game. Without a shadow of a doubt. There's nothing about this game that says the Chargers can't win. Come out, play sound defense, stop the run, and you win the game, in my opinion. Special teams be special.
There you go. Kenyon Barner. Preach. I'm Pete Fox. That's Jim Daniels and KB. 10 years in the league, 3 rings. Thinks the Chargers can win. And I'm with him. I do too. Let's shock the world.
Come on.
Muhammad Ali, I shook up the world.
Yeah. We'll be back right after the game to break it down for you right here on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. So join us then for Jim Daniels and Kenyon Barner. I am Pete Fox. You guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate the comments. Take care. Have a good night.